Sometimes you got to know where to look. You got to know what to pay attention to. You got to find out where to focus to see when we're winning, and we're winning. Why do I say this? Apparently, it seems that for reasons nobody can figure out, but this is big news for those of us who care about this thing called values and the return to values. There's a young lady by the name of Madison Marsh. Now, Madison Marsh is the 22-year-old second lieutenant, active duty Air Force, who won the Miss America award, Miss America pageant. She's a master's student at Harvard Kennedy School's public policy program. Yeah. Here's what that means. First, let me let you know. You know and I know that these pageants are stupid. They're basically a kind of a 21st century version of the minstrel show. They're horrible. They're relics. They do nothing but reinforce the idea that women have to be sexy and chattel. It's like slavery. They walk out and you're bidding. Oh, they'll have some titular talent. But let's face it, that's not what it's about. But, remember, as Breitbart said, and this is very true, that politics is downstream from culture, okay? So culture pretty much determines everything. You know and I know that had the pageant members of any pageant wanted this to be so, they would have said, it would be real great, wink, wink, for us to have a non-binary, multiple weird, pronoun-toting, androgynous, crypto-gendered, whatever, you know what I mean? It would really be good, you know, wink, wink, wink. If you want to come back, I mean, you don't have to do this, but it would really be a good idea in keeping with the zeitgeist and the current flow and all of this kind of nonsense. But that's not what happened. No, they said, let's go for the 22-year-old active duty Air Force pilot, war hero, whatever you want to call her. Now, the Harvard folks, believe it or not, they kind of tagged onto that a little bit too, because Harvard has they have just absolutely cratered in whatever reputation they had, what with Claudine Gay. So you have this white, blonde, active duty. Okay, now she's not the dean. You know, I think Bill Ackman would approve, but Harvard's going to be doing a major rehabilitation move on their part, and don't think they're not piggybacking or dovetailing on it that way. But this goes to show you what is happening right now. Remember one of Lionel's many rules. The pendulum will swing back like a wrecking ball. It will just be devastating. Americans are sick and tired of this Biden administration post-COVID insanity. Kids, my latest beef. People in pajamas at airports with slippers and, I mean, it looks like remember sometimes when you go to the doctor's office and they'd bring some kid who was like straight from the sick bed wearing the pajamas with the footies in it? That's what we are now. We're adults. This juvenescent, childish nonsense where everything was binary, non-binary. This is a blonde, white woman, military. Norman Rockwell, Leave It to Beaver. This, my God, in view of what will be the Trump triumph when it comes to the Republicans. Trump is doubling down, and the country, after 4 years of this interminable, senescent dotard, this lunatic, this horrid, rancid man who wasted our time, where we went through this. Do you remember where everybody was upset, everybody was triggered, everybody had a little microaggression, nobody wanted to go to work, nobody wanted to do anything because we were scared, and we wore masks, and we stayed 6 feet apart, and we didn't want to, That's over with. That is over with. Now, of course, we got a bunch of tattooed sloths, but that's a different story. This is excellent news. And by the way, this is also a signal that you're going to see more traditional things. I did a recent commentary on why Gen Zers love The Sopranos. Why? Because they're tired of being wussies. Deep down inside, they kind of said, hey, kind of world of our parents or whatever isn't too bad. I kind of like that. It's risque, and they cuss and they kill and they joke and they say homophobic things because, well, they can. And the sun didn't collapse and the earth didn't fly out of orbit. Somehow we existed and maintained some degree of order because Tony Soprano and these other people basically choked the life out of some guy they thought was gay or whatever. Can you imagine that today? And by the way, that's they say based in part on truth. We're tired of this. Wait till you see what's happening. There was a story that my Mrs. L turned me on to right around Christmas time. And for the first time, real established toys that when we were little boys, Tonka trucks were making a huge comeback. That kids wanted to be kids and little boys wanted to be little boys and do little boy things, and so did girls who identified as girls and moms and dolls. What do you think Barbie was about? What do you think Barbie? Remember this. People missed the point. I saw it was the most incredible thing. Women in my, I guess, demo, 60s, 50s, 40s, who identified with Barbie because that harkened back to a time when they were girls, little girls, and it was fun and great, and whatever, to be Barbie. Not covered in tattoo. That's another one. That's another story. That thing is, I swear to you, people are going to be. Tattoos one day will be considered almost like polio when people have noticeable of certain age ranges, people with noticeable limps or canes or the old iron lung. It was a time that was during polio. You're going to see somebody walking around with these hideous, horrible neck tattoos, and people are going to say, "Oh, I know where you're from. You were during that era when all of a sudden overnight people just followed the leader and abandoned all sense of reality to have their dermal real estate permanently disfigured." But that's for another discussion. We're going back to traditional, plain old values. And you're going to see, because remember, a while back during the Biden horror show, every commercial from cable TV to fruit juices to furniture, they always had the biracial, interracial couple. Every single person had to have the obligatory biracial, interracial family or whatever it is, which is great. But everyone? You don't remember this. There was a comedian years ago. I don't know who it was, but it was so good. He said, when they first introduced black people into commercials, all the black folks were always soulful, and one of them was like a McDonald's commercial. Gotta eat, gotta move my feet. It's always rhythmic, and they're always jive ass, and it was something. Remember Mrs. Olsen years ago at a black party in the backyard, and she's out. Who brought Mrs. Olsen? They tried. She had her coffee, and anyway. I'm going back into my past. When you force feed somebody cultural changes, it never works. And what we're seeing here is a reappreciation, a re-embracing of that which counts. Old-fashioned values. I don't care whether you're military or not. Like I said, I think the whole is the irony is that the whole notion of the beauty pageant is stupid, but it doesn't matter. White, blonde, Air Force, Harvard. Oh my God. Two things I want to ask you. Number one, subscribe to the channel and all that like business. You know the routine. And comment as you see fit.